Hey guys, Sean Lentz here from Appalachian DIY, and today what we're going to be doing is talking about our boiler pipe, how we're installing it, what depth, and what you guys need to know to get this stuff installed. Alright guys, today we're going to be talking about our boiler pipe that we have. The stuff I chose was this white corrugated. It has the wrapped foam on the inside, and we chose to go with oxygen barrier pipe on the inside since this is going to be a hydronic system. This was probably the cheapest stuff I could find. With shipping, it's a little under $10 a foot. I think it was around $800 for a 110-foot roll. And then they had $200 for shipping, and it comes by a freight truck. I think Old Dominion was the one who delivered. That's all going to vary with your place that you have, so just make sure that you can take a delivery like that. With this stuff, it's pretty stiff to bend around, so as we uncoil this, it might get a little wiry, so we're going to have to deal with that. But all we're going to do is we're going to pass it under our form, get it up to where our boiler is going to be in our garage, and then we can just kind of unravel it. But for right now, we're just going to leave it sit here because we need to dig this down for our septic, for our city trap here. So we're just going to leave it, we're going to uncoil it from here, pass it in so we can get our stone in. And get everything leveled out for our pad and to pour our cement. So a little bit about this stuff. It's a 4-inch corrugated pipe. It has the oxygen barrier. I chose that because it's a hydronic system. We don't want oxygen penetrating into our PEX pipe and just oxidizing our water, which will damage our boiler years down the road. It's not something that's going to happen really quick. The other ones, they're a little cheaper. They have just the normal red and blue PEX, which is kind of nice because once you get to the install and you're inside for your manifold, you're going to know which one is which. I just plan on airing one of these tubes with a compressor and feeling which air is coming out on the inside. So it's not really a big deal to not have different colored PEX on the inside. But I do think it's a really big benefit to have oxygen barrier for a system like this, especially to protect your investment with your boiler. As far as the white pipe, the company that I went with, I'll have that up here in the video. They claim that this is a superior white pipe in turn to the black stuff, like black corrugated. They say this is waterproof. The black stuff tends to not be. I don't know if I really believe that. It does feel a little different. It feels like it has a coating over top of it, so there probably is some truth to that, but if you're not buying perforated pipe with PEX in it, I don't know why that black stuff would be leaking anyway. But this does feel a little different, I'll be honest there, so it might have a coating over top of normal black PEX. So it might help with that. When we install this, we are going to put over this boot here. It's looks like a little udder. These caps are closed on top, and all this is going to do is it's going to fit over our end of our pipe. We're going to leave these closed. We're not going to cut them open right now because it's going to be exposed to the weather. The worst thing you can do is let the end of this cap open. Letting rain and stuff in here, it's going to fill up your pipe, and it is going to really be detrimental to how much this insulates your hot water going through. Because not only will it have hot water traveling through here, it's also going to have to heat up the water that's in your pipe, and it's going to be disastrous. So it's extremely important that you cap these ends until you have them installed. When you do install them, all you do is cut off the tops. You're going to slip your PEX through these nipples on top, and it will seal around your PEX. For the inside of our boiler like it is, it's not going to matter, but for those of you guys who are doing this on the outside, you're just pouring a pad and putting this kind of exposed to the weather, super important. So we're going to, for us here, we're going to cap it, probably put a zip tie around it maybe. I don't know how well these will hold on. Probably pretty good. There's a ribbed edge on here. So we'll get a stake. We'll have it staked up exactly where it needs to come through our pad at. And then we'll leave this roll here until we get this dug out to our house. We'll also cap our inside one, that way there's no moisture coming in this end and the end in here on our coil sitting out in the weather. We'll probably tarp this entire coil. That way we just mitigate all the issues with having water get in here. So what we're going to do is feed it up through here and get this thing staked in. Alright, so what we have is we have this electrical taped to a rebar stake. Kind of holds it somewhat up and down. Right here is where our concrete's going to be coming in. So all we're checking is to make sure that we have the correct clearances for where this thing needs to be. We're spot on there. What we'll do is we're going to leave that rebar stake in as we pour, because this stuff is so unwieldy. If we didn't have any support here, this thing would just curl right back over. So we'll leave the rebar in, we'll cut it out later after our pour is done and this thing is cemented in place. But for now, what we're going to do is take our ends and we're just going to fit it right over our pipe. Okay, so what that's going to do is it's going to allow no water to seep into our pipe, which we definitely don't want. I'm also going to take some electrical tape here and just seal the side. Probably don't need to, the way it's sitting. It's not really like laying flat on the ground. If you guys do have it laying flat on the ground, I would definitely seal it up with some tape until you guys get it into where you need it to be. But this is just an extra precaution. Like we said, we don't want any water getting into this pipe. It's going to totally diminish the reason we have our insulation in there. It's just going to soak up water and just pull that heat right out of our pipe. So this is the way we have it. We're just going to run this thing down through. For depth, they say 2 feet. This company has stated that they have lost 1 degree of temperature with this stuff above ground. I forget what temperature that is though. I believe it was colder out. So this stuff works really well. They say just bury it 2 feet underground. That's usually where your electrical's at. So if you're throwing electric up here and you're running that to your house, this will be your sub panel. You can just run this in the exact same ditch. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to run this out along with our water, sewer, and electricity all out the same way. That way everything is together. We're going to kind of try and put it into the trench nice and neat. We are going to put this end also on the other side. That way that there is no way even moisture just from the air is going to get into here. So we really want this sealed up. So what we'll do now is we'll just kind of backfill this. We're going to definitely tamp this down and make sure that we have a good footing here and just finish up with our plumbing. So what we're doing now is we're backfilling and we're using just soft dirt, and we're trying to avoid stuff like this. We don't want anything getting down here and puncturing into our pipe, causing a leak or any type of moisture getting into here. So if we see stuff like this, we're just tossing it to the side. Just want soft dirt so we can pack around this pipe nice, and just avoiding stuff like this, nice big rocks coming into contact with our pipe. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hand fill to about 6 inches over top of this, and then we can just push everything back in with a tractor then, just to eliminate any type of possibility of large sharp rocks getting up against our pipe. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to uncoil our boiler pipe, and our water line, run them in the same ditch here, and then branch off to the house at different locations. But we're going to put them in the same ditch right next to each other. Now that we have our boiler pipe and our water line all in the same ditch, we're going to put our water line on the uphill side. That's going to give it the most protection from our frost. And then we're just going to cover everything up with just a soft layer of dirt, no rocks, making sure that nothing punctures into our liner here and our water line. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and head over to Appalachian DIY for more videos. Thanks again, guys, and I hope to see you next time.